Hi, my amazing planner friends. It's Jess from My Magical Planner, and today we're going to be talking about planner stacks. So I have my planner stack from this year right here, and I have my upcoming planner stack for the coming year. There's not a whole lot of changes in the books themselves. However, the way I'm using some of them has changed. So when you're picking out planners, the first thing you need to do is break down, well, what do you need to have in your planning system? What areas of your life are you going to be covering in your planning system? So for me, I need a family calendar that is accessible to everyone in my family so that if people are on the go and making decisions on, something that's happening, they have access to that calendar. I need something to track financials. I need a catch-all planner for me because I need to be able to write everything down. And I also like my to-do list. I can't live without them. I need something to track my social media and do my content planning. It's my version of a work planner. I need a goal setting system and something to help me with household chores. And then I also would like, something to track ink and like hobbies, that kind of thing, as well as some place to journal. So with that all being said, here is how I've used it this last year. From my digital stuff is essentially on my phone, right? I use the iCal system for our family scheduling and everything. Currently, I've been trying to set up the Nerd Life app in order to do financial tracking. That's not really working out, so I'm probably going to be changing that to something else, probably a paid thing, but I haven't made an official decision on what that's going to be. But those things are kept on my phone or in a digital, on my computer, that kind of thing. Next, we have a goal setting system. I used the Moxie Life system this last year, and I'm going to continue to use this. This has worked really well for me. There's no reason to change it because the system is working. Now, that being said, there are spreads in here that I'm not utilizing, which would be these spreads. So one thing I tested out over the last couple months is transforming this into a cleaning calendar. And so, all right, to give you an idea of what I meant about the chore setting system. So this gives you an example from October where I went through and I have my daily tasks down here. I have all of the weekly tasks as well as a checkoff point for the daily task here. And then I have monthly to-dos on the side. I'm able to decorate it. It works really well. And then just to walk you through the system here, you set monthly goals here. And then you have kind of a blank page here, which I'm using for intentions. We have weekly actions to keep you going. You have weekly reflections and bleeding into the next week. So you're constantly working on different things. So this is definitely staying just in that new format. Next, let's talk about my content planning. So this has been both good and bad, right? So I have the commonplace notebook here, the A5 size, and I've loved this year. It's done a lot of great things for me. However, the one issue I've had with it is that I have a lot of, I feel like, blank space in here. And so I don't feel like I'm utilizing the spread to its fullest. A lot of weeks, this is this coming week, but sometimes it looks like this. And I love having the to-dos in here. And some weeks it's, a little bit more sparse. It may be like this. It just depends on what's all going on. So I think the layout isn't working as well as it could. So I'm changing up the layout that I'm going to be using this next year for two reasons. This is one of them. The other one being, I love having all these notebook pages at the back. I do a lot of research and ideas and things like that. But sometimes things get kind of lost in the shuffle back here. And so one of the changes I'm making that is going to kind of go with this for the layout change. So I have the new common planner for this year, only instead of having the vertical layout, I went for the horizontal, which I think is new this year. So essentially I have my weekly view over here, and then I have a blank page on this side. So if I have any video ideas that are specific to like a new month, or I want to go with a theme that I'm going to be working on that month, I can have those ideas and stuff correlated to where I am in my planner and not just in the back, kind of willy-nilly. And then I still have all of these blank pages at the back that I can use for universal things. I'm not great at indexing. I learned that this year. So just having things in here and maybe having a chronological order to them by having the daily pages is, I think, going to be helpful. I'm also going to try and do some tabbing back here. I haven't quite worked all of that out, but I think the combination of the two is going to make this a much more functional planner for me. We'll go over it in more detail when I do my setup of this planner, but generally speaking, that's the one change I'm making to this planner. In addition to this, I'm actually going to pull in a notebook to go along with it. So I bought this A5 Sterling ink notebook. It's just got Tomoe River paper in it. It's numbered, and I'm going to be pulling this in for a general ideas book. So one of the key things that would happen over this last year is I would have video ideas and I'd write them in the back and then I'd lose them. And so then I wouldn't go back to them. The idea with this is to simply have a whole book that is dedicated to just my video or social media ideas so that when I need that inspiration, I can always go back here and I can just have a running list. I can have, detailed breakdowns or whatever. And I can have that there and just be able to, at a glance, look at it. I may use the first page for an index to have like general ideas. I just haven't decided and then used the pages to break down those ideas more. So I'm kind of thinking through that process. But that's the idea with this, is to really have everything more cohesive and easier to find for me. Next, I have my catch-all. So I love my Hobonichi. It's worked amazing for me. There are very few things I would change about this book, other than maybe the paper quality for this year in mind. I haven't decided if I've gotten a bad one or because I think it's a more overall problem. But anyhow, so that being said, this is going to pretty much stay the same. So I'm still going to have my monthlies where I'm working on my various different, overall of what the month will look like type stuff. It may end up looking more like this. I haven't decided, but this is kind of the style that I think I like the most in this area. The daily pages are different, but I'll probably still do a variety of different stickering techniques. I don't see the stickering going away because I kind of love them. So monthly pages will still be overviews of whatever month we're going into and what that looks like for me so I can see everything at a glance. Weekly pages, I think, are just going to be pretty much the same. They'll probably change up somewhat in layout as the year goes by because I always do that. And I think that's healthy to kind of switch things up as your needs may change or you need something different that week. And I think that's really healthy. I definitely see that continuing to be a thing for me. But otherwise, this planner is pretty much staying the same. The pages at the back. So I really struggled in the beginning of the year being able to utilize these pages. But what I've found is that as the year has gone by, this has become more commonplace for me and it's become integral. So it's more about this area, to be honest, than anything else on here. It's the brain dump for what's going to happen the next day so I can kind of focus all my thoughts. It's a lot of times I'll use this area for not pre-planning, but a list of what did I currently do today? What did I accomplish today? Because sometimes I get to the end of the day and I'm like, what did I do? So I think that's going to stay the same. I think meal tracking and like health tracking stuff is going to be a little bit more integrated to this. Again, we'll do more of the in-depth look at that when I do my setup video for this. But that's the general thought on this book. The only thing that I'm adding to this is this little notebook, which I think is super cute. I'm probably going to put the sticker on here. So this is another sterling ink. It's I think the passport size, or there was a smaller size than passport, and I can't remember what it was called. But I think that was what this is. It's either one of the two. But I'm going to be using this as kind of my mental health book this year. So what that means is I'll be using this when I go to therapy, and we talk about boundaries. And for me to really feel like I understand things, I sometimes need to take notes, or sometimes I'll have assignments for my therapist that I need to do. Like, and one of them this last year was listing out all of my good characteristics, which is really healthy for anyone to do. But I didn't have a set book for those things to go in. And I think having that, and it's small, I can put it in here. I'm not taking anything really extra, and it fits in my pocket. I will be using this cover this next year again for my Hobonichi, so I think that's going to be a good fit. So that is my everyday carry, essentially. So here is the new version. Just going to be the same. There's been no real changes to this book over the last year, so nothing big to go over there. So pretty much same layout. The next thing that's going to be in here is kind of my hobby area, right? I need a book for journaling. And since I'm currently using this one, it's not used up. It's by Archer and Olive. And I love the quality of this. And I love the fact that I can sketch in here. I can use my stickers in here. I can paint in here if I want to. I can literally do any kind of medium I want and have it count as my journal. And I feel like that's more inclusive, and I enjoy it more, because sometimes I don't want to write a huge thing. Sometimes I just want to sketch something. Sometimes I just want to doodle or play with my stickers or play with my washi tape. And this is a great place for me to do that. So I'll be using this one till it's gone. And then I have ordered from their Black Friday sale at least one additional notebook. I figure as I run out of them, I'll probably want the newest in line. So that is what this one will be used for. It's essentially my journal. This was from a subscription box, in case you were wondering. The last thing I have on my kind of planner list here is this little number here. Now, it's not exactly a planner. It's kind of a bucket list book. So it's for books specifically. So if you're a big reader, it's just a tiny little book. It says books on the front. I'm probably going to do a little bit of decorating to the cover. But essentially what it is a place for you to record about each book that you've read. So you get to write down like the title, author, ask for the genre or subject, heard about it from, reason for reading, and a quick synopsis. Then you have things like type, be it hard copy, ebook, or audiobook, the length of the book in either pages or hours, level of engagement, quality of writing, favorite character, least favorite character, would see the movie, date completed, when I finished, I felt, and it has some different things down here. I learned something, will read again, read past my bedtime, felt all the emotions, thought all about all the time, finished in one day, those type of things. And then you have a rating here and a would recommend, yes or no, as well as an area to put any thoughts, quotes, or insights from each book. And you only get one little page for that. And I think in some ways that's really good because it makes you condense what you were going to say. And you get that for the whole book. And then you get to the back here and you have a couple of other things. So you have that many pages, however many that is. I haven't actually counted, but you have read a book from each genre. So you have all the different genres here, and you can put in the title and author of the book that you've read in that, category, so that you can check it off if that's something that'll encourage you to read more. We have best books I've ever read, and you get 2 pages for that. You get a literary bucket list. This is just 1 page, and it also has a really light rating here. I don't know if you can really see it, but there's 5 stars there, so you can fill those in. You have book loan records. So if you loaned out a book to somebody, you can say who you loaned it to and when it returned or all of that stuff. And then you also have a rite of passage checklist, which I thought this was really cute. This is just little things you can do that most of us who have read tons of books, I think, have already done. But you have watch a movie based on a book I read, consider writing my own book, bought a book and never read it, bought books as a gift, listened to an audiobook on a road trip, visited a public library in another country, like all kinds of little things. And then on this side, it has 50 novels to read before you die. So I don't know how I feel about their list because it has a few books on here that I'm kind of like, really? So one of them being The Life of Pi, because I read it forever ago, or at least I tried to. I don't think I finished it. It was not something that really stayed with me. However, Jane Eyre and Harry Potter are also on the list, and I do give it credit for those. It also has things like The Old Man and the Sea. I did, in some ways, enjoy that book. I read it in high school, though, and it was like mandatory reading. So I don't know. I don't know if I would consider it mandatory reading for like everybody, though. Did we get something big out of it? So I'm going to have to think about their list. What it would be on your, like, everybody must read this book before they die list? I'm curious. Anyhow, that is everything that I have in my planner stack for this next year. I'm excited about starting the new year, starting some new systems and things, and setting these books up. I'm going to be doing that in the coming weeks. We'll start Vlogmas starting on December 1st, and I'll have a video each day that'll include things like my setups and goal setting things and new pens, because I may have bought a new pen, lots of ink, and all kinds of things. So I look forward to doing that with you guys. So if that sounds interesting to you guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single video. And until next time, I'll see you real soon.